We're back with a Fox News alert. Moments ago, the Supreme Court ruled that women's access to the abortion pill, mifepristone, will for now remain in place. This comes as a request from Biden's Justice Department, which challenged a lower court's ruling to put restrictions on the drug. The case now goes back to the U.S. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. Just breaking moments ago. Let's turn now to Meridith McGraw. She's a national political correspondent for POLITICO. Meridith, thanks for being here. As the news often happens, we were going to talk about the horse race on the Republican side, and we'll get to that in a moment. But a ruling like this, or at least temporarily putting it back to a lower court on abortion, it seemed to have an impact in 22. How does this impact politics and the political situation going forward?
Well, this is the first major decision on abortion that the Supreme Court has had since the ruling on Dobbs last year. And that had an incredible impact on the midterms. A lot of people have said that for Republicans, it hurt them in the midterm elections. And Republicans are still trying to figure out how to come down on the issue of abortion. There have been a lot of abortion restrictions that have been passed in the aftermath of Dobbs. Some in Florida, for example, Governor Ron DeSantis signed a 6-week abortion ban there. But there is concern that this could hurt Republican chances in the upcoming election, especially with moderates and with suburban women and others who are concerned that these abortion restrictions in some cases are going too far.
So setting aside, personal beliefs on this, just politically speaking, but this would say that these abortion pills are available to women, even in states where there are these restriction bans, correct? I believe so, and this still has to go back to New Orleans to the federal court there, where this is going to be heard in mid-May. Okay, so there's a lot more that will go into this. As we get more details, we'll bring it to you. But I want to get to that, Tony. You mentioned Ron DeSantis. He had a big book tour rolled out, is going around South Carolina and New Hampshire, and seemed to be gaining some momentum in polls. But more recently, especially following that book tour and his stance on Ukraine, how he handled the indictment of former President Trump, and then some news reporting that had been done in Politico and elsewhere, seems to be fading. And the polls reflect that 30-point, 25-point lead in different polls for Donald Trump. What's your status of the horse race on the Republican side right now?
Well, we've seen almost a reversal in polling with Trump and DeSantis over the past few months. A recent Wall Street Journal poll showed that Donald Trump has a sizable lead over DeSantis, and that's a complete reversal from how it was back in December. And I think there are a few things that are at play. For one, DeSantis still hasn't officially made his announcement for president, even though he is crisscrossing the country, going to places like South Carolina, Iowa, and New Hampshire on his book tour. He still hasn't officially gotten into the race. And Donald Trump has been going after him repeatedly. He has national ads talking about DeSantis' stance on Social Security and Medicare, and he's repeatedly hitting him. And we saw Trump have a big boost in the aftermath of his indictment. And that was reflected, too, in the kind of fundraising numbers that the Trump campaign reported. But it's still pretty early. And even though Trump he does have a sizable lead, a lot could change. And this week, DeSantis did have a disappointing time when he came here to Washington. Trump rolled out quite a few endorsements from the Florida delegation. And endorsements and polls, they're not always indicative of standing, but what it does show is the sort of organization that Trump has, the backing that he has of members down in Florida. And a lot of that, some of the members said, had to do with just personal politics. They hadn't heard from DeSantis over the years. They didn't have a personal relationship. And that's something that Donald Trump has really, he works the phones. He's made calls to these people. He had them at Mar-a-Lago last night. So that seemed to really make the difference in the end there.
Meredith, the shift has been huge. Are you surprised by the kind of leaks or off-the-record conversations members of his team have had to the press saying he doesn't like to retail politics, he doesn't really like to meet with donors? I'm talking about DeSantis here.
Are you surprised that even before he announces that kind of stuff is coming out, we don't have a whole lot of time?
Well, there's still a lot that the public doesn't know about DeSantis. People know about his record as the governor of Florida, but there's still a lot they don't know about him personally. And so when these sorts of stories come out about his avoidance of personal politicking, he doesn't have a relationship with some members of his own Florida delegation, that definitely hurts him and hurts him in the eyes of potential voters who are being polled here.
But you led with the bottom line up front. It's true. There's no doubt there's been a massive shift in the direction of President Trump. Look at any poll out there right now. Meridith McGraw, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.